SSO, Special Operation Forces. Formed in 2009 from GRU members during the 2008 Russian military reform, SSO has become one of the most well-known Tier 1 units today. Whether in Syria, competition shootings, or early war operations, SSO is known for many things. So, what about their gear? Before we continue, I want to make it clear that I'm not super deep into SSO, and most of this info comes from friends, reliable sources, and my own ID work. Unlike other videos where I can just ask a friend in the military, I can't really do that here, so I might get some things wrong, even with how basic this video is. With that out of the way, feel free to correct me in the comments below. And before we start, I'd like to give the biggest thanks to Vempo Collective, better known as Vempo Face, for making all the easy to follow guides I used for this video. Vempo Face has a great collection you can find on his Instagram. I also want to thank my friends who helped me compile some of the other info for this video. But now, without further ado, we're only going to be focusing on the Leafy kits for this video, excluding the winter ones. While I could complain about competition kit or break down Syria, I mainly focus on everything from 2022 onward with a few exceptions. So let's start with the main piece, the Leafy suit. The Leaf suit is the core part of the kit, and if you want the history on it, you can watch my other video. It's also something you cannot cheap out on. I've seen people try Stalker Leaf suits, old gen FSB contract suits, and even Lapa gear. Do not do this. You cannot cheap or cope your way out through the Leaf suit. It's arguably the most important and iconic part of this setup. While many Leaf suits have been used over the years, the most common and notable is Sokol's Leafy 3 and 4 and Ultra, Summer, Autumn, and Taiga. And while a lot of people want Autumn, compare these camos to what your local environment actually looks like a majority of the year round. You don't want to be a brown autumn bush in a green summer field. 545 Leaf suits also make sporadic appearances in their respective summer and autumn camos. The problem is the summer 545 suit, the one we've seen in the field, has since been removed from the 545 website, leaving only the autumn variant available. Other contract suits appear as well in the same colors as Sokol, but I don't have any names for them. But if you can't get Sokol, instead get a new gen contract suit. It'll work. Now, onto vests. We've seen a wide range of vests over the years, and loadouts that were once used in Syria naturally changed due to the different battlefield. Among the Leafy guys, we see a mix of issued and privately bought gear. The most common and easiest to get is Euratax ITPC and ATAX IX. While SSO's contract variant has some contract-only IX items not normally listed on the site, the plate carrier itself stays the same. Some operators also swap out the cummerbunds from what I've heard. Next is a privately bought one, Gearcraft's Autumn, which honestly surprised me since I expected something like an MBC or our care bid. This is another carrier we can visually confirm in the Leaf suit group photo. And finally, the last vest we can visually confirm is one I mentioned in a previous video, Triada Slick Carrier, which I briefly talked about before. I don't know if it's issued or bought, which is why I saved it for the last. There are likely more vests in use, but finding and IDing them, especially with the rules I'm using for this video, is difficult. The only vest I can confidently say that is used without photo proof is Triada's KBS Sturlock vest, better known as the MRS, which we've seen with SSO many times before. While SSO has been spotted using other carriers like Ars Arma, AVS Mod 1, Old Gen, Phil and Bobber M, and MBC's Phantom, both old and new gen, I'm limiting this list to what I've seen confirmed with the Leafy guys. There's also the possibility of a Fort Goblet in ATAX FG based on this groin pad. But note, we've seen SSO operators cannibalize goblets for parts before, like this drone operator using the shoulder pads and neck guard from the goblet, or this operator running a goblet MK groin pad on his ITPC. It's also worth mentioning that some may not even be using vests at all. I can't find the post, but after the captured SSO footage from Ukraine came out, Archangel Special Forces commented that some SSO operators might prefer harnesses instead of vests for mobility reasons. On that topic, the Ars Arma D3R and MBC's Mongoose chest padded Type 1 are the ones confirmed in pictures. Just note that the MBC's is mid-gen. Both are privately bought and the only ones I know about. My guess is that if there were others being used, they'd be using Triada, but I haven't seen any confirmed photos of the Triada rig in use at all. Still, it's up to you if you want to use a vest or rig. Now onto helmets. The most obvious and well known are the 5x5 Spartanet 1 dipped in ATAX FG, and Armorcon's LZH 1 Plus in OD, low cut and high cut. These are usually paired with Sokol Leafy helmet covers, and while the group photo shows them being used without covers, the video shows otherwise. We can also see an unnamed fast style helmet in one of the ambush videos, probably an old Contract Atlas helmet, which we've seen in use in many places before, the most recent being 2022. It could also just be another Russian brand, or well, an American helmet. Also in the photo we either see a Ops Corps or Russian copy Fast SF helmet alongside a Flux looking helmet. I wouldn't be surprised if they were Western brand helmets, since a lot of Western ITAR items still make it into Russia, but it also could just be a Russian made copy. I would say Chinese, but SSO has a bit more luxury with gear. Now onto clothes. This part I have to assume the most about. In the captured SSO footage, we can see operators out of their leaf suits wearing a mix of combat tops, thermal layers, and possibly compression long sleeve shirts. The only thermal layer I know SSO uses is BTK's Ratnik Layer 2, which we saw on a member in Syria. As for the combat top in the footage, it could be one of many brands, Cry, contract brands, etc. Nothing stands out enough to confirm, same goes for the others. For pants, we've seen plenty, unnamed Cry style knee pad pants in Multicam and ATAX FG. We also know they still use TPC, either the Slavyanka contract version or the Tactical Performance in ATAX FG. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of the more veteran Leafy guys is still running around in a TPC ATAX AU set like we saw in Syria. They also use the Ops Tactical Gen 2 shirts and ATAX IX, which we saw in Venezuela. So it's possible they're using the Gen 2 Direct Action pants in IX as well. Now finally, accessories, backpacks, and boots. The backpacks are simple, G99 contract T30s, but good luck getting your hands on one. I've never seen one pop up outside of Russia, and even inside of Russia, they go as fast as they appear. While there could be a contract T40 version, and it is mentioned in passing, it's still pretty unknown. And boots? Loa Zephyrs. While they've used many brands, you can see a lot of boots in the photo. Just use Loa. Or whatever you like, as long as it's boots. And yeah, with my luck, a bunch of leaked SSO photos will probably drop right after this video comes out, showing all the gear I missed. But for now, I think this gives you a pretty solid baseline for how to set up your SSO Leafy kit, and maybe even some possible one-to-ones. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope this video helps you in any way. I should say, don't expect any more SSO content than I feel like I need to do in the future. I don't really like them, and I don't really have the autism for them. I'm more FSB orientated. And don't cope out with a leaf suit. Get a Sokol or a contract suit. As much as you could probably use a 5x5. If you use a 5x5 in green, you're cool. If you use one in autumn, eh. So yeah, don't cope out on the leaf suit. And as always, thank you for the support, and more videos soon. I'll see you next time.